So today, a little update on what's happening in real estate, the world of real estate, and what the Department of Justice is saying about our commissions. Now, I already knew this was going to happen, or at least I thought it was going to be. And honestly, I think it's a good thing, my opinion. So as of right now, I just read an article that the Department of Justice came out and said that not just on the MLS, that we as realtors cannot advertise commission anywhere. Again, anywhere. And again, this is according to an article I just read. And obviously, there should be some other parts to this, and this will change. It's not an official ruling. They just said this. And possibly in the next few months will be an official rule, is that commissions cannot be advertised anywhere. So my opinion, and like I said in my other videos, and if you haven't watched my other videos and you're just watching this one, I said and I'll just summarize to this. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It shouldn't matter. If you see a commission, if you call it, if you as a buyer's agent call an agent, or you shouldn't even care what a seller is thinking in their head when it comes to commission, because they should be made aware. Let me just step back to that. A good listing agent, professional, ethical, knowledgeable listing agent should, my opinion, explain to their sellers, you are going to get offers from buyers agents. So who cares what you think you're going to pay in commission right now to a buyer's agent? We don't know. We don't know until the offers come. And of course, the seller will say, what do you mean you don't know what I'll pay to a buyer's? Well, just like I can't guarantee you what the price of your house is going to be. I do not know 100% what your price of your house will be. We're going to market it. I think it's valued at this, and I think buyers will pay this for your house. But how many times are we wrong as agents? Almost a majority of the time we're wrong. Why, right? Were we wrong, or we're shooting for something? Say someone's put their house for 250. It might first sell for 251, 249, 245, 265. But we're shooting for something. So you as a good listing agent got to tell your sellers, you could shoot for or have an idea of what you might want to pay a buyer's agent. We can't advertise anything anymore. Even if you want zero, or if you want to pay $1 million, we're not going to be allowed to advertise that anywhere. But it doesn't matter, because when the buyers come with their offers, they're going to have an agreement with their buyer before they come in of what they're going to get paid and who's going to pay it and how it's going to be paid. And Mrs. Seller, that might be you. They might ask you to pay. It might be flexible. It might be not flexible. Example, if you haven't watched my other videos, if a buyer's agent, before they even see a listing, and has an agreement with their buyer, and a buyer's agreement, and that buyer puts in writing in their buyer's agreement that they will not pay the agent, and they want to only buy a house that a seller will pay their buyer's agent. A buyer can do that, not a lawyer. I know real estate law for my 31 years in real estate, but I don't know everything. I'm just giving you my opinion. I don't think that anybody could stop that. A buyer, before they even see a house, can make an agreement with an agent that I want you to get paid this. Remember, it's an agreement. So if a buyer signs it and an agent signs it, it's an agreement. The buyer's signing an agreement. The buyer's saying, hey, my agent gets I'll just throw out a number, 3%, just a random number. And I'm putting in writing that I will buy a house, and only buy a house where the seller will pay my agent. Nothing wrong with that. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. My legal opinion, there's nothing wrong with that. Just like if a buyer says, hey, to your agent, I need to buy a house, but I don't have enough money for closing costs. Only find me a house that the seller will pay my closing costs. Now, before they go to a listing, will you find listings and sellers before they even saw this buyer say, hey, I don't want to pay any buyer's closing costs? Well, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, we'll try for that, just like we're going to try for that. But we might get a buyer that you ask for closing costs. It might be a higher price. And it might be the only buyer in town. They might be the only buyer that comes to your house in 6 months. And you might pay their closing costs. You might pay for their movers. You might pay to get new carpet and paint the house purple because they're the only buyer. We can't, as listing agents, we can't guarantee something to a seller before they have it. Even if they say that, I feel we have to protect them from themselves if they think that. Just like a seller says, you say your house is worth 200,000. They go, I want to put it on the market for $1 million. What are you going to say? You're going to say, okay, we'll try. No, it's not selling for $1 million. Just like a seller comes to you, go, hey, guarantee me I will not pay a buyer's agent. I can't guarantee you that. I can't. I'm protecting you from yourself. We're going to see the offers. You get to decide. And we'll see what the buyer brings to the table. Some might ask for some might not. But the whole point of this video, I'm sorry I had to do that recap because I get comments, I get texts from agents saying stuff on this because I'm not recapping all of my other videos. But the Department of Justice, I think, is going to come in, which they already said they will, and they're going to say you can't advertise it anywhere. Can't advertise it. Because I've been talking to agents and listing agents. What do you think it is? Do you think we could put it in on our office website? Do you think we could send it out in an email to other agents like, hey, I got this new listing. I know I can't put it in the MLS, but I'm going to send a mass email out to all the agents in the MLS saying, hey, I'm offering commission, but it's not in the MLS. Well, that stopped. I knew that was going to happen. What's the point of not having it in the MLS and try to open up all other markets? Or even worse, what I thought might have been a possibility if they didn't do this, which again, I'm sorry, I'm saying it. If you disagree with me, I'm glad they did. Because what happens if they said, all the agents said, well, okay, we don't want an MLS anymore. We're going to open up something else like an MLS and we're going to advertise it there. What's the difference? The Department of Justice was not dumb in this. They go, well, if we just say not in the MLS and that's it, they're just going to figure out other ways to do it. The whole point is we don't want to advertise it. I don't want to advertise it. What I want to advertise before I let you go for the day, what I want to advertise or promote or say out there is that sellers, you and the listing agreement are going to sign an agreement with what you're going to pay your agent. That's it. You decide what your agent is going to pay. You're going to pay them no matter what they do. If a buyer comes by themselves, doesn't come by yourself, your cousin buys it, whatever happens, you pay them. But I feel that we should be open with our sellers and says, yeah, the offers are going to come in from the buyers and they're going to ask you. Most buyers are probably going to ask you to pay something. Well, do we guarantee that? No. Some might come in at nothing. Some might come with some might come in with a lot. It's all part of the deal, just like closing costs. Like if some buyers might want you to do repairs, some might not. Some might come in and say you want you to move in 30 days. Some say you can stay there for 60 days. It's part of the offer. I don't know how many more times I have to say this. And I'll say one more thing, just to recap this. That most agents have been saying to me, but if I am a buyer's agent, am I putting my buyer to disadvantage because they're asking the seller to pay me? No, absolutely not. You're on the same playing field that any other buyer. That's like you, oh my gosh, I've got a buyer. I've never had an agent say this. Oh my God, I got a buyer that needs a seller to pay closing costs. Should I even take this buyer? Because there's no way I'm going to convince a seller to pay closing costs. But do you get sellers to pay closing costs? Yes. oh my gosh, I got this buyer that there's no way that they have any resources or extra funds or the know-how to make repairs on a house. Those little things that always come up in an inspection. Should I just forget these buyers? Because I'm gonna put them at a disadvantage. If we go look for houses, they might have to ask the seller to do repairs. Or even worse, they might have to ask the seller to give them a credit for money to do repairs. Should I not take these buyers because of that? No, no, take those buyers. Just like this, same thing. Oh my gosh, I've got this buyer. They don't want to pay me out of pocket. They don't have the extra funds, or they just don't want to pay me. They have plenty of money. They're rich, but they don't want to pay me because they like to keep their money in investments that make more money than paying me for my services and want the seller to pay for their agent. Should I not take these buyers? No, you should take those buyers. It's the same thing. I don't know why. It's just part of the offer. It's part of that. And I just want to make sure again, I know I'm recapping a lot in this of many videos I saw. So the ones agents that have seen my videos, I apologize. But we have a true and tested real estate industry that's been doing this for decades and decades and decades about what we're about to do. And it's proven and it works. It's called the commercial industry. The commercial real estate industry has been doing it this way forever. There's no commissions advertised anywhere. There's no even MLS. There's LoopNet and some other advertising things. And do you see a commission in there? No. Do the sellers pay the buyer's agent's commission? A majority of the time or all of the time. I would say just at least a majority of the time. And guess what? Those commissions on multi-million-dollar properties are traditionally higher percentages than real estate at a lower price point. I tell this to agents all the time, especially when they jump into commercial and I throw out, well, what's a marketable commission normally? And I throw out a number like, wow, that's high. And this is a multi-million-dollar property. Whoa, why am I isn't residential real estate and I'm in this, not in commercial? Well, there's many reasons why, but and they go, how or why do in commercial markets that do the owners and companies, owners and buyers agents of in commercial market, why do they do this? And at a higher normal commission percentage normally, why do they do this? Why don't they just make them pay each other? Because it's part of the offer. It's part of the negotiations between the buyer, the buyer's agent, and the seller and the seller's agent. It's just part of the deal. So to recap that, I'm sorry I went all along with that, but again, we won't be able to advertise commissions anywhere. Right now on the line, I'm just wondering if we're even going to be able to say a commission. That's kind of a stretch. What I mean by that, if a seller wants to pay a commission, and they just flat out say, I want to add or you to pay a commission. I want to pay a commission. I don't want to leave it up. Want a dollar amount at the time of listing. I want to pay this like a more traditional, like we're doing now. Can we tell the buyer's agent that if they call us, is that advertising? If the buyer's agent calls us and we say a number back, are they going to get to the point where they say we can't put in writing or pinpoint what a seller was want to pay a time of listing? I think that's the next step. There might be a time this might pan out this way, which again, I still okay with, is saying that at the time of listing, your seller cannot say how much they'll pay a buyer's agent at that time because they don't know what that buyer's bringing to the table or what that buyer's agent's going to be asking for. They're making a judgment on how much they want to pay a buyer's agent before they even get the offer. That's a stretch. I don't think that's going to happen. That's my opinion, but it's very possible. They already just told us that and ruling on it that we can't advertise it anymore. What does advertise mean? Does it mean we can't talk on the phone? It can't call other agents? Can't say them in text messages? Can't even put in a listing at the time of listing what they want to pay a buyer's agent, or we just have to leave it open until offers come in? Well, we're going to see. It's this is every day there's a little bit added to all of this, but bottom line is it's all, I feel so good for what we're going to end up doing in the future is that buyers agents and buyers are going to agree on what they get paid and who pays them. The seller agrees that they're going to pay their agent, and they have to see offers that come into from buyers, and buyers are going to just, I know the market, the buyers are always or majority of the time going to ask the seller to compensate their agent. It just is. The even better part again with for the buyer's agent, you're going to have an agreement or should have an agreement with your buyer guaranteeing you that. So you should have no fear of the seller, what a seller will say, because you already have an agreement with your buyer. They're backing you up. They're going to make sure you get compensated. You had that agreement, you have it signed, sealed, delivered, and they're going to guarantee your payment by somebody. And that's beautiful. And I can't wait for this to start. But reach out to me, call, text, email me anytime. I'm here for you. I'm happy to discuss this with you from now and forever, because I know it's going to be lots and lots of conversations for the next months, years. It will always, is going to be coming up, and how to negotiate this for many years to come. That's it. Have a great day. Bye-bye.